schedule 3 weekend getaways a year, one for each of their birthdays and another for their anniversary. So, after waking up late on the morning of February 23rd, Tyler and Brittany scrambled to make the hour drive to Columbus from their home in Wilmington, in time for lunch with Tyler's parents. Brittany was turning 23, and the couple planned to celebrate with a night out at Easton. I'll tell you about that in a minute. While Tyler's parents watched Aaron. They decided to visit Columbus, Ohio, because it was only 90 minutes away from their home, and Brittany had never been there before. They made reservations to stay at the Hilton Columbus at Easton because it was within walking distance to the Easton Town Center, which, when I looked it up, said it is the Midwest's premier shopping, dining, and entertainment destination. Following a long, leisurely Saturday meal, they check into their hotel at 4:58 p.m. and they proceed to get ready for their night out. Their friend, which originally, when I started researching this, was not named to the public, I later found out their friend's name was Sean Hughes. He arrives about 6:30 to join the celebration, and oddly enough, I found this really strange, but Tyler gives Sean a room key just in case they get separated during the night. Well, why? If he was planning on going back home, like if he gets separated, you just get in your car and go home. You live 10 minutes away. Regardless. Sometime between 8:30 and 9 p.m., the trio leaves the hotel. They walk through the shopping complex. They stop for drinks at Bar Louie. This is the third video I filmed tonight. At Bar Louie and Adobe Keyless. We got some dinner and went out for the evening, Brittany said. We walked around the town center to get the lay of the land because we were going to go shopping the next day and had a couples massage planned. I read several articles that talked about how many drinks each of them had, and really it wasn't an excessive amount of drinks. It was 2 or 3, but people really factor that in when they talk about the theories of this case. So yes, they're wandering around drinking. Later in the evening, the trio hails an Uber for a 15-minute ride to the Dollhouse. I had to look this up, but it is apparently a North Side strip club. Seems to be a popular venue. It has a 4.5 star rating on Yelp. According to the manager, they have a large selection of rare top-shelf vodka, scotch, and beautiful women. They also offer bottle service, a VIP lounge, champagne rooms, private dances, 4 stages, and a large bar with a stage. They arrive at Dollhouse at 12:45 a.m. Tyler and Brittany talk to one of the girls and buy her a drink while Sean is off doing his own thing. Brittany was drinking Bahama Mamas his abrupt departure and told her he was just taking a walk around the block and that he'd be back in just a minute. In the interim, Sean comes back to the hotel. Brittany said that he told her that Tyler was just blowing off some steam and there was no reason for her to be worried at all. Around 4 a.m., Brittany said that Tyler called her again. He told her that he was walking through the woods and that he could see the hotel and he would be there in 5 minutes. Brittany said Tyler sounded so confused and he's not an outdoorsy person at all, so there could be 2 trees right beside each other and he would call that the woods. Immediately after the 2 hung up, Brittany said Tyler called her right back, but this time there was no one there. The call went for about 4 seconds before it ended. When she attempted to return the call, Tyler's phone went directly to voicemail, as it has every time since. This is the last time anyone has heard from Tyler. Brittany recalled that when they were leaving the dollhouse earlier, she remembered Tyler saying his battery was low, so it's assumed at this point his phone is dead. By 4:12 a.m., Brittany's phone is almost dead again. Sean has had enough and he leaves. He goes home and Brittany goes back to the hotel room to charge her phone, and she calls her friend Harley to tell her what's going on. Security footage catches someone walking toward the hotel that looks like Tyler at 4:15 a.m., but further investigation will discover that it was actually Sean and not Tyler. I don't know why he'd be walking towards the hotel, though. Why wouldn't he be walking away from the hotel if he was leaving? Brittany is still talking to her good friend Harley at 5 a.m., and she goes downstairs and walks around the area near the Hilton looking for Tyler. It's not long before, guess what? Her phone dies again. She returns to the hotel room to plug it back in, and at this point, she starts calling hospitals, jails, and friends to help come find Tyler. One of their friends being former roommate Adam. Adam comes to the hotel to help Brittany, and with no sign of Tyler by 10:30 in the morning, she calls his parents, and his father comes to the hotel to join her. At 11:15, Tyler's mother tells Brittany, a.m., not p.m., to call the police and to file a police report. Brittany said that an officer initially told her that since Tyler was not a minor or a senior, there was little that they could do between 48 and 72 hours because a 29-year-old man can go missing of his own accord if he chooses to. Brittany said after she spoke to the police, her father-in-law arrived and he searched every single area on foot by himself. In fact, he stayed out there until well after dark. Police finally arrive at the hotel at about 12:30 p.m. Brittany meets them in the parking lot, and a missing persons report is entered into the system at 1 p.m. The group continues searching this area for Tyler, but there was no sign of them. At 5 p.m., Aaron offers to drive Brittany home, well, to Tyler's parents' house to get her son. She goes with him, and she leaves her car and her keys at the hotel for Tyler to use when he returns. At 1 a.m. on what would now be Monday, February 25th, Brittany and her friends return to the Hilton to resume their search. They speak to the night manager of the Hilton about what's going on, and he pulls the CCTV footage to review it. They also inform the security at the Easton Town Center of the situation. For 7 hours, they continue searching for Tyler. They stop at 8 a.m. Police, of course, begin their own search for Tyler, intersection of Stelzer Road and Morse Crossing. This is the last known location that authorities have for Tyler Davis. Columbus police have admitted they dropped the ball in the search for Tyler because they initially believed that he and Brittany had gotten into some kind of argument, which resulted in Tyler running off. And that's why they didn't start their search until 3 days after he disappeared. 8 months after Tyler disappeared, a new officer, Detective Jason Brammer, was assigned to the case. And this officer held a press conference in October of 2019. New audio was released at this press conference showing Tyler asked his phone for directions back to his hotel. Detective Brammer said, "What it showed me was intent. It showed me Tyler wasn't trying to go sneak off and have a life somewhere else. What it showed me was he wanted to get home." Now, Brittany was at this press conference and she asked the public for help finding Tyler. She stated, "If anyone has any information on what happened to Tyler or where he might be, please come forward." She said that she deserves answers. Tyler's family believe that he was unaware to how lost he was. They in fact pulled the browser history from Google and saw that he was watching videos and listening to music while trying to find his way back to the hotel. In January of 2020, a Columbus Police Department source confirmed that Brittany has taken a polygraph in relation to Tyler's disappearance, and she passed. It is believed that Sean has never taken a polygraph, but he has obtained a lawyer in this case. So what happened to Tyler? Did he stumble into some swampland and drowned and just hasn't been found? Could he have been hit by a car and the perpetrator covered it up? Did he randomly come across an opportunistic killer? Seems less and less likely as time goes on that Tyler will be found. Now, I almost always look at Reddit articles to see what other people's theories are, to see if they're similar to my own. One theory that I saw was that Tyler maybe caught Brittany and Sean flirting, and that's what set him off, and then he went for this walk to cool off, but Sean followed him, and they got into a fight, and this fight resulted in Tyler's death, which could be why Sean lawyered up and also hasn't taken a polygraph. Another theory on Reddit is that the group was doing drugs and it's being left out of the story by Brittany, which is why some of the parts of the story don't make sense. Like that he was angry enough to go walking around at 4 a.m., but that didn't seem alarming to her. It's conceivable that she doesn't want the negative attention that would arise from admitting this publicly, but it was still an accident at the end of the day, right? Albeit one that contributes somehow to drugs in some way. Tyler wandered off and succumbed to the elements, maybe. Alternatively, is another theory that Tyler went to go buy drugs for the group and died in a drug deal gone wrong. Now, there's like a sub-theory that Brittany and Sean were having an affair and they actually killed Tyler earlier in the day, but the Uber driver, the people at the dollhouse, everyone seemed to back up that Tyler was there with Brittany and their friend throughout the night. Tyler, according to what I read, didn't drink all that much. Could somebody have spiked his drink? Sure. Apparently, there's a review on Yelp, and I didn't dig into this, but I did look at the Yelp page that says, "These people will drug you and steal every last dime in your pocket. I recently went to the dollhouse because it was close by and I needed a drink. I had Facebook page kind of blew up, and she couldn't keep track of all of it to even delete the comments she didn't like or things like that. So she opened up like a new private group where she only accepted people to be group members, which I think is strange because she's clearly not going to accept someone she doesn't know, but that someone might have information as to what happened to Tyler. I think she got really upset that people were blaming her, and I totally understand that. If Sean went missing and people blamed me, I would be angry and upset about that as well. But I find it really strange that, and maybe it's because it was 3 days before the police searched for him. Now, I understand, yeah, he's 29, he's allowed to do whatever he wants and wander off wherever he wants, but they waited 3 days to search for him. Who even knows what the dogs could have found 3 days earlier? Maybe it rained, maybe it rained the whole freaking time. I don't know. I didn't look up what the weather was in Ohio on those 3 days to find that out, but I just think if they hadn't dropped the ball like they admittedly did, maybe Tyler would have been found. I don't necessarily stand behind the fact that he's like in the swamplands somewhere and hasn't been found, because it's been several years, and I think somebody would